You are Locked On Golden Gophers.
No matter what we're going to do here, we're just going to keep rowing.
Your daily podcast on the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
However it turns out, we're just going to keep rowing.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
We're just going to keep rowing, and keep rowing.
You're listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It's Kane Rob, we've got Tristyn Spann-Ford, and you know what? This is back-to-back now. We finally got them back-to-back. You know, we've been like every other with them, but the people, they've called, they've made a stand, and they said they want Tristyn Spann-Ford on the show, so we had to do it for him, back-to-back.
Hey, I'm happy to be back. I am back on the show this week. I will say, though, I will not be at the game this week. So we're going to need some extra volume because I won't be there.
Ooh, you're going to have to show up loud and proud, fans, because Tristyn won't be able to make it. And it's a big one, Iowa. Let's talk about it. Iowa Hawkeyes. I know you hate Iowa. I hate Iowa. We all hate Iowa.
Hate Iowa. Hate them. Can't stand it.
Well, but there's a lot on the line in this game, including any shot at winning the West. Do you think the Gophers have a chance? Do you think that they can pull it out? Now, we need an Illinois loss, which they probably will to Michigan, but you need a Purdue loss to either Indiana or Northwestern on top of you have to finish the season with a win against Iowa and Wisconsin. What are you thinking?
I don't love the odds. I don't love it. But I will not say that it's impossible.
Right.
You know, crazier things have happened. You know, you need a couple of upsets here and there. I mean, it's not undoable is all I'm saying. I don't love it, but it's where we are. This is where we are.
I feel that. And I'm with you. You need a little bit of help. I think the biggest help is you need Purdue to just choke at some point. And I think it's there. I mean, you got the in-state Indiana rivalry against IU at IU. So there's a little hope. You got to, pray to whatever gods or speak it into existence, whatever is your thing, because we don't judge here. Whatever you do is you.
This is probably the first full weekend of winter football also. So who knows, Some of these cats up in the Big Ten are down south. They don't like the cold like that.
Exactly. And on top of that, Purdue is a more pass-heavy team. So pass-heavy might not be the way to go when it comes to that cold weather. Yeah, great point.
Just say it. Well, anything to make it possible.
Anything can happen in the Big Ten. Now, let's keep talking about Iowa and Minnesota. A lot on the line in this game. What is bigger to you? What is more important to you? That the Gophers win because they need one to get Floyd of Rosedale the trophy back here in Minnesota, which we have not had since 2014, or PJ Fleck getting his first ever win against Iowa in his time here? What is more important in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think I am always going to go fan base first. And so I'm going to say it's the win for the fans. It's the win to bring the trophy back. This is a huge rivalry. And, even we haven't won it since 2014, but it's still one of the biggest rivalries in college football. It's always talked about, whether it's, been lopsided in the last 10 years or not, it's still actually pretty close to who's won it. So I think I'm always going to go fan base. The coaches come and go, but the Floyd of Rosedale will always still be
That's a great point. That's a great point. I'm going to pick against you on this, on what's more important. Typically I'd pick with you. I'd usually almost always be with you, but I just feel like Minnesota Gophers fans right now, they're on edge. They're kind of edgy. The fact that we're still in the West, it's slim, but people were ready to burn the season down when they thought that it was out of reach. When we went down 3 games in a row, people were calling this a failure. People were saying we'll never win a game again this season. Now, those people look foolish, and we knew that, you and me, from the start. Those people look foolish. Look where we are now, 7 wins in, and can still maybe pull out the West. So calm down. But I do think just getting that monkey off your back and being able to get a win against a team that just, against the odds, You haven't been able to. Last year, absolutely should have led in every statistical category and somehow still managed to lose at the end of the game. Like just wild, shocking, weird losses. I feel like getting this one will go a long way with the fan base as far as calming some of those pressures or hesitations. So I think that for that reason, I would pick PJ for this one.
No, I agree. I definitely think his resume needs it as well. I mean, is Iowa to PJ what PJ is to Scott Frost? Like that's I'm just saying.
It's a question. It's a question we're putting out there in the ether. Now, we're not saying we have the answer to that question, but it's a question. All right. So then on top of that, I got to ask, which trophy means more to you? Not to your brother, not to the team, not to other fans. Which trophy means more to you, the Floyd of Rosedale or the Axe?
Personally, to me, and I could be using recency bias, I like the Axe, but that's only because I have fond memories of winning the Axe. Also, sometimes when it comes to Wisconsin people, they can be a little insufferable. And that's maybe just because they're just mean versions of Minnesotans.
That's putting it lightly. That's putting it lightly. Like insufferable.
Well, we hate Iowa, but we don't really love Wisconsin either. So that's
whatever is stronger than hate. Sometimes we have more than that for Wisconsin. That is where we're at right now.
Exactly.
All right. So then the last thing that I got to ask you is, if Tanner is officially cleared, do you start him with the extra caveat of it is also senior night?
I think if it's me, out of respect, because of the type of person we all know and everyone in the state knows Tanner is, he's a stand-up guy. He's a phenomenal human being, and he's given so much to the program. And the way he loves the rest of his teammates, you give him the option to play that first drive and then run with Athan, or you run with Athan and don't even let him. I think you go with Athan. I mean, he is next. Even whether the season is, we talked about the odds of winning the West. You have to credit some of those wins to him, and so I would have to go with. I'd have to go with Athan, and that's not taking away from Tanner, but that's where we are right now as a football.
Exactly. Like, we'll preface this by saying we both love Tanner and what he's done for the program. Like, you can't take that away from him. You never can.
No, he's just a stand-up person. Like, I bet if you called him right now, he'd be, and you said, "Hey, I need a shirt," he'd be like, he'd take the one off his back and give it to you.
Right.
Like, I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
But like, we're going for not only dubs right now in this season, which we're not saying he can't give you, but Athan adds that element in the ground game, and I think you're really going to need it, the threat of it in this Iowa matchup especially. So definitely with you, and I actually really do like that thought that you put out there. It's kind of the best of both worlds. You give him the option of, hey, like, you can have this first drive out of pure respect for everything you've done.
Absolutely.
Right. I definitely think that is a great option. Now, we're going to move into what we do best or worst. Not sure on that one yet, but the predictions and the over-unders, sometimes we hit, sometimes we miss. But, last week, I think we were pretty balling on this one. I'm not going to lie. Like, I dang near got the exact score right.
Yeah.
Like, I said 31-10, and it was 31-3. So maybe you need to come this way.
That was crazy. As we got towards the end, I was like, uh-oh.
Deep down, I was like, do I want them to score so I get it right? Or do I not want them to score so the Gophers look better? It was conflict of interest. But before we do that, let's talk about our friends over at Underdog. Underdog is the easiest way to play fantasy, especially when it comes to college fantasy. And you can use the Pick'em, and all you got to do is pick a couple lines over and under. This week, I will be taking Mo at the under with 134.5 rushing yards. I'm going to take the under because Iowa's defense ain't no joke. I do think he'll crack 100. I do think he'll be a major factor, but I'm going to take the under on him. I'm also going to take the under on Spencer Petras, Iowa's quarterback, at 145.5 yards. Yeah, dog, it ain't happening. It's a no for me, dog. Like, I'm sorry, but it ain't happening. And then Caleb Johnson, running back for Iowa, I'm going to take him on the over of 66.5 rush yards. That kid is a future baller in the Big Ten. I'm calling it right now, and I'll give respect where respect is due. But it's simple. It's easy. It's Underdog. All you have to do is go sign up with promo code Locked On, one word, and Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $100. You put 100 in, they'll give you 100. That's 200 in your account. Simple as that. Go to Underdog Fantasy or use the Underdog Fantasy app in the App Store, Google Play Store. And again, use promo code Locked On to double up your first deposit of up to $100. Now, I'm over here on my auctioneer game, trying to get that bad boy out of here. And we're going to move on to our over-unders. And the first one, if I can get this bad boy pulled up, is our boy Mo. You just heard that. You heard my take. So what is your take? Mo Ibrahim, 134.5 yards over or under.
As we know, I'm the over guy, but I have to agree with you this week. I'm going to go under on that. I think it'll be above 100, but it'll be right in between there. Under 134, I think. Yeah, I was defense is no joke. They're gonna key on him. You know, they're gonna stop the run first. So under.
All right, so then we'll go to turnovers. Will the Gophers get 1.5 turnovers, over or under? So over will be 2 or more, under will be 1 or less.
I'm going over again. I don't, and as much as I trust our defense, I definitely think Iowa's quarterback Spencer Pettis?
Petras or Petras. I don't even like.
Yeah,
if he did enough, I'd take the time. But
I do. I knew the gist of it, but I don't be watching Iowa games. But so I don't think he's going to take care of the ball this week. So I'm going with over that.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over as well, and only because I think the Gophers are going to probably need the over to try and get this dub. I talked about it all week, but typically whoever wins the turnover battle against Iowa ends up winning the game. That and then not allowing Iowa to get a lot of sacks. Anytime Iowa has gotten 3 or more sacks this season, they've won the game. And every loss they've had, they've only been able to get to the quarterback to sack him 1 time. So sacks will be something to really pay attention to in this game. And then winning that turnover battle, typically whoever wins it ends up winning the game.
The offensive line is going to have the work cut out for them this week.
I gave Quinn Carroll some mad respect this last week, so don't let me down now. I will sing your praises, brother. I will sing your praises if you make sure my boy, if it's Tanner or Ethan, keep them clean. And I got you. I'll take it all back. I'll find anything I said. I'll take it all back.
Give it the hand up.
All right. So the next one we got to talk about here is the Gophers. Will they score over 20 points?
I knew we were going to get to this, so I was kind of thinking about it. And I think they are. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a close game. And I think we're going to go over 20 points. I don't know if we're going to do totals. We'll do totals later, I'm sure. But yeah, I think we'll go over 20.
All right. I'm picking against you on this one. I am going to go under. The total combined score earlier on in this week, I haven't checked if it changed or not. I probably should, but too late for all that. It was 32.5 points. If it sat at that is the FBS record of lowest scoring combined score of all time since that stat has been kept track of since 1995, if it held true. So I think Vegas thinks this is going to be a low scoring dogfight, and I tend to agree with it being extremely cold, with it having 2 teams that aren't historically great at passing, and having Mo out there on that bad boy. I think we're going to be rushing a lot. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. But the key, again, in my kind of deep dive of Iowa this week is if Iowa cracks over 20, they've won every time. If they, well, yes. And if they stay under 14 or under, they've lost in every game except for one against South Dakota State, which is an FCS opponent. So I think it'll be a low scoring one, which benefits Minnesota, but you got to come out on the top side of that. So
yeah, and see, I read that stat about the total, and I just know that every time, like it's always going to be run, 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 run. Like this is has the potential to be one of the most boring games we will ever watch.
Bro, this is about to be like Army Navy 2.0. Like,
it is. That's why everything in my brain says it's not going to happen, because every time I think something's going to happen, it just doesn't. So that's why I'm like this might be a shootout. Who knows?
Right. It's going to be like 60-50 now or something like that. All right. We're going to move over to the more fun side of this thing with predictions. But first, we have to talk about a new sponsor of the episode that is bringing it to you today with Nugenics. Now, Nugenics is the highest rated brand when it comes to testosterone over at GNC. In fact, it can help re-energize your life and help you get back that powerful, confident, good-looking warrior that you used to be. And I'm talking to you, Tristyn, not the listeners. You. No, I'm just playing. But right now, you can get a complimentary bottle of the Nugenics Total T when you text college to 231-231. You'll get that, and you'll get a bottle of the Nugenics Thermo, which is their most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back into shape fast and absolutely free. Again, all of that is free. Text college to 231-231 and try out Nugenics today. All right, let's do this thing. We're talking predictions. We're talking final scores right away. What do you got? I'm nailing it this time. I'm getting it perfect. Ain't nothing wrong. We were a score away last week, and I'm about to knock this one out the park.
You're going 2 for 2. You're going for 2 for 2. I love that. I want to go ahead and say, like I said, I think we're going to go over 20 points. Now, that's what I wanted to get to. I don't think it's going to be by much, but the original score I had in my mind was 28. 28 is a football number. Yes. 28 to, like 21. Okay. 20, something close to that with some field goals mixed in there, 24 or something like that. So let's go 24-28 is what I think we win by.
24-28.
So that's a lot of touchdowns. And that it shouldn't make sense, but that's whatever in my brain was like
hey man, last time someone tried to call you out for not making sense, they ended up weeping in some mimosas. I remember he said,
that's right.
Who was that against? Man, that was against Rutgers. It was against Rutgers. They were like, you got Minnesota scoring over 30 points on Rutgers. How many mimosas have you drank this morning? And then Minnesota put up over 30 points on Rutgers. And we were like, bro, you into mimosas? Because
I was about to say, I went home and popped some champagne. Why not?
All right, so for my score prediction, I'm getting it right on the money, and it's not going to be 9-6 like Illinois. We are going to lock in. I got to make it make football sense.
I know that's the hardest part.
I'm going to call it a slugfest. I'm going to call it 16 for the Gophers, 10 for Iowa. So that means the Gophers will get either 3 field goals or they will have 1 field goal and a missed extra point. Now, I tend to hope that our kicker doesn't miss an extra point. So I'm going to say the Gophers have 3 field goals, 1 touchdown. Iowa has 1 touchdown and a field goal.
Okay.
All right. Offensive side of the ball. Who's the player of the game? You can't pick Mo. Who is the player of the game?
Free spot. That's a free spot. Player of the game. This is an offensive line week. Between all of them, we have to have good offensive line play or we will not win this game.
Exactly.
I don't want to pinpoint any one of them, but this game is going to be so hugely based on the offensive line that it doesn't matter. And I think they know that going into these Big Ten matchups, like this is going to be a dogfight the whole time. So I am going to go with the offensive line. Does that count?
The offensive line. He did the whole unit. See, I was tempted to go with Ariante Ursary. I was tempted to go with him, have it be his kind of shining moment in the first year as a starter, but you took the whole line, so that's fine.
You wouldn't give me my free space, so I took the 5 spaces around.
So he took the collective unit, is what he. Not only does he get one shot, he gets 5 shots in his one shot.
That's right.
I am going to then lock in. Now, typically, I would default here, and I would just go to your brother because he'll likely see some pass options. It's going to be a lot of running, so he'll probably see some blocking success. But I think your brother will do good. I'm going to go with the other tight end. I'm going to go with Nick Callerup. I think he's more heavy when it comes to the run blocking. He's seen some red zone looks because he's able to sneak out from the run blocking. So I think he could be a sneaky one in this one. And regardless, I think when we look back at this, his PFF grade when it comes to blocking this week is going to be like in the 90s. I think he's going to ball out and be a big factor for the run game and having success.
I actually met him for the first time. I think it was the first time this year during the spring practices. Super nice, like stand-up guy, super nice guy. I think I also just like a lot of people I meet, but he was really, really nice. He hung out with the kids and stuff. Yeah, it was cool.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. All right, so flipping it to the defense, who you got?
Is it tea time this week?
Ooh, tea time.
I think it might be Terrell Smith.
Tell me.
I think it's gonna be this week. I think he might come up with a pick this week. I'm going with him. I'm
trying to think of who I went with last week. I think I went with Jawa Joyner, and I think that boy balled out. So I think the week before that I said Cody Lindenberg, and I think that boy balled out. So
you're perfect.
Who am I going to pick to ball out this week? That's who am I speaking it into existence because it's going to happen then? You know what I mean? It's bound to happen.
Well,
I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Flip Dixon. I think he's going to be pertinent in stopping the run game. I think he's going to be pertinent in cutting off some of the early quick passes. I think he makes a huge difference on this defense and he flies around. So I'm going with the boy Flip.
I think you went with Flip last week.
I think you might be right. I think I might have
because I like his name. That's why as soon as you said his name,
I was
like,
say that. Yep. Well, if that's the case, if I picked Flip last week, I'll flip to Jaw Joyner. But one of the two, I think those two are going to be real key in this game. Now, we usually talk about the most effective pass catcher. I'm going to skip that this week because I don't even know if we're going to be passing it very much in this game.
We finish this game with 5 passes thrown, I won't even be surprised.
Right. We got Army Navy 2.0. We've already said it. So which Gopher scores first? I think we would both say Mo probably there, so maybe we won't go there. Let's go with Will Athan run for over 35 yards in this game.
Absolutely, I think we're going to run into a lot of situations where we're run. And with Athan, you can use that little, a little keep, a little bootleg out. I think he will run for over that because it seems like last week, did he have more than that last week?
He had 28 last week, 28.
It felt like more than that.
It did feel like more than that. I'll give you
every time he took off, it was like, oh my God, I was like 30 yards. But I think there's a good shot. I'll go with the over on that.
All right, over on that one. Now, I don't know if we have any other predictions to throw out there. I'm going to get a lot of heat from people if I don't ask you. Like, I'm not even going to ask you for details here. We're going to put suspense on the listeners. Hopefully we can figure it out as time comes. But it broke this week that your brother is not going through senior day celebrations. Now that triggered all sorts of rapid reaction. We've got everything from we're doomed. That means he's going to the transfer portal to he's coming back and we're going to be amazing. I mean, all of it. What do you think when you see all of that speculation coming out just from your brother answering a simple question like that?
I think it's not bad. It's not bad. That's my mom panics when every time somebody tweets about him. I'm like, Mom, people are talking about him. Who cares?
Right.
My thing is, Brev is gonna do, since he has been little, he is gonna do what he knows is best for him. And I think it's not more of he has a plan. Everyone probably thinks he has a plan. And
Right.
I don't think he has a plan. I think he's worried about Iowa this week. And next week, he's still not going to have a plan. He's going to be worried about Wisconsin.
Right.
So,
He's focused on the season. I got that. I got that. But do we have the answer? Do we know? Even if we did, we probably wouldn't be taking that opportunity to announce it to you. We'll let Brevyn do that on his time. So I truly appreciate y'all for listening, but don't feel like you got to overreact because you might just be getting too deep on this. That's all I'm going to say.
They're just kids. They're just kids.
Just kids. Just kids. That's going to do it for us. If you have any word for him, Tristyn, you're not going to be out there. So what do you got to say to the listeners when it comes to this Hawkeyes game this weekend?
Be warm and be loud. We need to be loud. I know it's going to be packed in that joint. I'm sad I'm going to miss it, but we got fourth grade basketball tournament. All right, that's important too. So be loud. Be loud.
Hey, he's raising the next Jordan over there, so you got to accept it when he's out there balling on them fourth graders like that. So be
not
loud.
Easy, but somebody's got to do it.
Hey, it's not easy, but someone has to do it. But like Tristyn said, be warm. Don't go out there getting hypothermia and stuff out there in the cold. It's going to be cold. Dress up, folks. Get warm. It's cold in the press box. It's cold in the press box. Okay.
It's not. He sends me a picture. He'll send me a picture of his plate while he's up there eating.
No, they got me up there by that window, and it's cold. There's no heat up by the window. It's only in the back where the higher class, the higher class citizens get to sit up above in the warm.
The heat's by the buffet. The heat's by the buffet.
Right. But no, dress warm, have a good one, cheer loud, and let's go get this dub. This is Kane Rob and Tristyn signing off. Have a good one. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we're talking about it with Floyd in Minnesota.